the tiny owls, they hold each other's wings and they dance under the moon. Oh, oh, yeah, they dance under the moon.
Hi. Okay, before I even start. What? What is it, Ruby? No. Do you literally see her? She's... Ruby! I guess the floor must be kind of cold, so she kind of likes that. Just had to share that with you. It's getting funnier by the moment, but I won't just barrage you with cat moments, but her back leg's now up, completely spread around. Okay, hi! So it's spring and yeah, Ruby and I are a little bedraggled because we were outside today under the trees just watching them wake up and listening to the birds talk to the trees and wake them up. And one of my sweet friends sent me a Vox. I'm not sure if you use Voxer. It's like a walkie-talkie for your iPhone or Droid or other things. And she was sending me like pictures of fairy mounds that she found, and she took some offerings to the animals in the forest that begin to stir around, and they sort of wake up the trees. So it was kind of really magical to hear from her today and hear that she was out waking up with the trees in spring. So I hope you guys are doing super well. I've had a little bit of a slow couple months. I had a lot of patterns on the go all at once, and then one of them that I came up with is like way too winter. Like I know it's gonna be winter in Australia and the southern hemisphere, but like I just can't put out this thing that is so winter when I'm feeling this way. So it's gonna have to wait till next year. But that's okay, because guess what? I have another thing ready. Oh my gosh, never mind the time that's in my hair. My time. Oh my gosh. Here's a little bit of our thyme plant out there. And it's actually, I think these have been sort of green all winter. I don't think that it ever really completely went into hibernation. I think is thyme an evergreen? Because this... every single time I go smell this thyme, do you like every time? Here she is. Sister, you want to smell this thyme? Every single time I pull this thyme and then I go sit underneath my tree, I can see fairies. Now I don't know if thyme actually are gnomes and elves and little pixlings and other little creatures out there, but I don't know if thyme actually helps you see fairies, but it really opened up my sight. What do you think? So give it a shot. Give a shot out to some thyme and see if the gnomes don't appear before your very eyes. And I'll tell you what, you know, a lot of times when you're looking for gnomes, try to eat some too. Make sure it doesn't have any pesticides on it. Gross. It's actually kind of gross tasting, but I love it now. I've become accustomed to it. Oh yeah, but when you're looking for gnomes and fairies and things like that, I know it's kind of the thing you see when you're a kid, or you imagine, or you think you're going to see when you're a kid, and then you get older and you're like, that'd be cool if that was real, but I don't know if it is. And then you go out there and wait, and then nothing happens, and then you're like, there's no such thing. But all they really want to do is kind of just be with you. And so like if you are sitting in a quiet place, you'll just feel like subtle shifts of energy around, and you'll get little twinklings of them because they're freaking there. I mean, it could be something other than gnomes and fairies. It could be, no, I'm not even going to say that. They're out there. And so are you, my dear. So are you. Anyway, plant some thyme. And then you know what's really good, actually? If you put thyme in your salsa. I know that sounds weird, but it gives it this like extra little weird taste, and I love making homemade salsa. I'm going to move this down a little bit so you can see Boo Bye. Because she's much more fun to look at than me anyway. Scratching my eyes. Okay, so the reason why we're here is because, okay, a couple years ago I was doing this pattern. It's called a moss and bluebell scarf, and it has like moss, it has like green bits up here, and then it has like bluebell pockets, like these blue pockets at the bottom. And I had designed that for a company, for Knit Culture, for Vogue Knitting, and I had designed that for them. The first idea I came up with was an enchanted tree hat, and I thought you'd do like the blue background and then do the green tree and then the, you know, little green bits, and then it could be like a magic enchanted tree. And but then I worked it up in the wool and it looked horrible, so I freaked out, and I only had like 2 weeks left to actually release the design. And so I went to my friend at the time, and I mean, I was desperate because I'd already charted this out and made it, and it was beautiful, and it just looked diabolical in the wool. So I was like, help me, what do you see when you look at this wool? And then he was like, I see moss and I see bluebells. And I was like, got it, moss and bluebell scarf, it's happening. Moss, bluebells at the bottom, done. Like, I was desperate. And you know, that turned out to be one of my favorite patterns because it's so like cute and smushy to put your hands in. But the first idea I had was the, hold on, sorry, the enchanted tree hat. See? There's definitely gnomes and pixies and elves and fairies living in there. And do you know how I know? Because if you sit very still by the branches late at night and you wait and you listen, you might see a light go on. Shut up. Okay. It makes me cry, like how, like, enchanted it is. So there's little tassels. So I got this idea actually this year when I was thinking of bringing this hat back out, and I'm like, you know what, I need to finish that. Sorry that it made me cry, but I'm so excited that it worked, because I had this idea, like, there needs to be a little knot hole in the tree, and then a light needs to go on. And you know, I always confer with my friends and family, and I'm like, how am I gonna do it? And they're like, well, you could do like a little flashlight and like turn it on. I'm like, okay, I really don't want to have like electrics going on in my hat. Once I start wiring things up and there's lights going, like, it's just gonna enter a new realm. So I thought, well, I can make a little, like a pop-up book, you know, like, and slide the yellow up and down. But then I'm like, where's that gonna come from? And lo and behold, after a few months of kind of pondering and finagling, I came up with the idea of tassels with an I-cord. And when you pull the brown tassel, the light goes off, and when you pull the green tassel, the light goes on. And it's very, very simply constructed. The I-cord simply weaves through the trunk. What? And then I put a little bit of a stopper here just by threading like some pieces through, and a little bit of a stopper here so that it doesn't slide all the way through, because that's not fun. And part of the tactile bit of it is that you're like, and it stops, right? Some of you are probably thinking this is the most ridiculous, obnoxious thing you've ever seen, but I'm compelled to continue to carry on. So in the front, when I first wove it through, it was kind of sticking, and you could see the motion, and I wanted there to be a little more mystery to it. So I created a tiny piece that has a hole in the middle. Let's see if you can see that. I think it's easier to see when the light's on. See, there's like a little knot, and it's just a piece of bark, and it's just a little square, the hole, and then I just stitched it around the outside after I put the tassels in. So it's got a little bit of slouch to it, which I'm sure if you're watching this video, there's going to be links to pictures and stuff, which you can see it. And it's just kind of like a cozy little hat. And you can completely forego this whole rigmarole of the light fixture. But to me, like, oh, hey guys. Oh, someone's home. Oh, they went to sleep. What? So anyway, the enchanted tree hat, I hope you like it. If you wanted to, you could just leave this whole part out. You know what I would still do though? I'd still make the knot and just put it on there, because it gives it kind of a little bit like, something is in there. I imagine sort of making like a little needle felted like fox or owl or something and like sticking it in there at first. But then I was like, you know what, it just kind of needs to be boop, boop. So simple. Hat starts at the bottom. It's done stranded. So as you're working along, you're carrying this kind of greeny butterscotch color and the gray. And then you knit a couple stitches in gray and one stitch in green and then a couple stitches in gray. So it leaves these kind of floats in the background. And there's some information in the pattern about how to wrap your stitches and things. And when I got to the tree part, I just did it the same way. I knitted with the green and carried my gray along, okay? And then you wrap the gray stitches, the floats, every once in a while to kind of wrap them up. Now for this part, I just did Lazy Man's in Target and the round. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do to get it done. You could duplicate stitch this. I didn't. I knitted and then I would add some brown, knit that part, and then just cut it. And then keep going around, you know, keep going with my green and my, well, actually I didn't add, well, yeah, I must have. Oh yeah, it was a little, the first like 10 rows are a bit annoying because you're gonna have like, you know, some ends to weave in. It's not the end of the world. It's like 20 ends or something. Did I tell you that? So, but then once you get to this part, it's smooth sailing. There's no cutting or trimming or anything. Sister Ruby, are you for real? Can you hear her? Hold on. Betsy? Betsy, can you come here a second, please? Come on. I don't want you there. Come on. Come on, get out. Good girl. Good girl. Okay. I know you want food. Ruby's on a diet. It's vet ordered and it's really important that she doesn't, you know, eat as much, so she's been crying a lot lately, but it's all you want is food. As you can see, and I hope no one would ever do this to me, but she has a little bit of a belly right now. And I swear we don't feed her very much. We feed her 1/4 of a cup of food a day. And, oh, she's purring. And, you know, a spoonful of wet food so that she keeps her, you know, wet diet up. But she just, and we play with her laser and everything, but she's just naturally chunky. So, no more treats. No more treats. So I guess that's all I really have to talk about today with y'all. I hope you're having a beautiful season and enjoying the weather, and I hope you'll like to knit this little guy. He's really fun. The brown keeps sticking out when I do that, but honestly when you're wearing it, it doesn't. She's tearing at my favorite magazine. You want to see it? You have to have something destructive to do, don't you? Look at that beautiful woman. And look at this little owl. It's called Sage Woman. And I just love the fact that she has, you know, just roses in her cheeks. And she's got wisdom lines and wings. And she's just cradling this bird. And that's just the kind of woman that I want to be. And I hope that I'm that kind of woman now, you know. Well, I don't think that you can be this woman until you hit those later years in your life when you've gathered all of that wisdom and you can sit in your own place and just radiate that comfort. I'm laughing at Ruby because she's doing that thing. You want to see it, don't you? Is this the Ruby show? You can't actually not find that funny. You can't find that not funny. It's the Ruby show with nobody else but Rubes. So anyway, lots of love your way. I hope you're having some Sage Woman moments. I think to be this woman, I really think you need to come to peace with things you can't control and let a lot of things go. You know what? Whatever. You rock on with your bad selves. I'm just gonna like sit here in my place, and you know, takes a bit of that to find peace. Okay, Enchanted Encounters to all of you with your friends outside. Go hang out there and, you know, meet some new friends because they want to hang out and they're getting more and more they're getting closer to the veil, and we're getting closer to the veil. That's why everyone's so obsessed with like nature and things right now, woodland things. It's trendy, I know that, but there's a reason for that. When a trend comes up, there's something about it where we're kind of getting back to the kind of earthy, earth. Spoken like a true Taurus. I love you, Tiny Owl. Love and blessings to you, and lots of love.